तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5, beginning from verse 25. Sri Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the meeting between Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj after Nanda Maharaj has paid his tax to Kamsa. Then Sri Vasudeva ji came to see him and they asked each other's welfare. So that's what we have been reading. Any question before we continue?
I had one question just on this shloka that you quoted yesterday.
Which one?
The one about wiping first somewhere, and I looked it up and I found the verse, but I couldn't find it exactly where it was in Vamshidar's Tika.
I think it's in the Mangalacharan, in the very beginning.
Okay, yeah, at least I looked in the Tika on the first verse, but I didn't.
That's as far as I remember, at least.
Okay, but in the course of looking it up and thinking about it, then
Actually, the first line is something Sajjanan.
I have it here.
Sajjanan prasanset purvam tatpaschat durjanan, something like that.
It's Vandeham Durjanam Purvam
Yes.
Sajjanashcha Param Mukha
Prakshalana
Prakshalana
purvam payu
Payu
prakshalana.
Prakshalana. But anyhow, in the course of that, I forgot what was the point of it, or like why he makes this. What's he trying to say by using this remark?
No, this is what I was saying, that you have to keep satisfied the Durjanas, otherwise they will create obstacle. If you don't satisfy the Sajjana, at least they will not harm you. They may be displeased, alright, but they will not go out of their way to create trouble for you. But Durjana will do that. So that's why Bhut Bali is very important. Among the 5 types of Bali, you have to do Bhut Bali, so that you remain protected. So that's how he said in the commentary that he has propitiated the Devas, Dikpalas. Now he is going to propitiate the Durjana, Dashtakamsa, Dashtaraja.
I see. So it's obeisances them in the sense of for the sake of propitiating them.
Yeah.
And then how does the example illustrate this?
Well, he's saying I'm doing first to them, and then usually you'll say, okay, I first pray to my Guru, Krishna, this, then to others. He says, Vandeham Durjanan Purvam Tat Paschat Sajjana. First I bow down to the Durjanas, the wicked people. So then he gives the example. Anything else? Okay, so Naikatra Priya Samvasa Shruhidam Chatra Karmanam Aghena Vuhyamananam Plavanam Shrotaso Yatha. So this is Sri Vasudevji continuing to speak, because he was talking about his problem, that how it is so nice to meet Nanda Maharaj, because he was inside the prison, not free to go out. And now he says that Naikatra Priya Samvasa Shruhidam Chitra Karmanam. He says it is not always possible that you can live with your dear ones, your relatives and friends always together. So Naikatra Priya Samvasa. Samvasa means together, vasa, living together with people who are priya to you. So this is everybody's experience, especially in the modern times, except because of Corona. People were together, otherwise mostly now everybody is different. They're working in different places, different cities or different countries. In the past it was not so much as now. So Suhridam Chitra Karmanam. Why it happens? What is the cause of this? It says because everybody has got different karma. Chitra means variegated. So their karmas are different, so they have to go to different places to get the result of their karma. If they had the similar or same type of karma, they will be together eating same type of food, suffering or enjoying the same type of weather. But if their karmas are different, then one person suffers in heat, other one goes to a cool place because of the Chitra karma. So Karmanam Chitra, Suhridam Chitra Karmanam. So then he gives an example to illustrate this. Aghena Vyuhya Mananam Plavanam Shrotso Yatha. So just like things which are floating in a river or some other source of water. So by the flow, by the force of the water, they sometimes come together and then they get separated. Right? Some wooden pieces, grass, etc., they come together sometimes, and then because of the force of the water they separate, and then they may not meet again, or they may meet after a long time. So like that, human beings also come together by the force of their karma. And as long as the karma is common, then they are together, and if karma is not common, then they get separated. So it is by the force of karma that people come together, and by the force of karma they are separated. So he's speaking, basically saying that you don't have any control over it. That's how things are, and better to understand it. So nanu evam cha adau evam cha idau
avam.
What is chet? Evam chet.
Avam.
Evam chet avam ekatra eva vasava. So he says that if this is the case, we are together friends, then we should live together. So then he says, no, that's not tatraha naikatra iti. Hey Priya. So Priya, he is taking this as a sambodhana. Priya samvasa is separating. It can be samas, Priyanam samvasa. But his commentator makes this, that he is calling him as Priya and samvasa Surhidam. So because Surhidam is separate there. Oghena Shrotso Vegene. So Oghena means by the power of the Srotas, the source of water. So Vyuhyamananam. So being carried away. Vividham Niyamananam. They are carried to different places. Plavanti iti plava, strina, kasthadya. So plavanam, plava here means those things which float. So they are called plava. Kachit pashavyam nirujam bhuryambo trina virudham brihadvalam tadavadhuna yatra se tvam suhidvrata. So now he is asking his welfare that Kachit Pashavyam Nirujam Bhuriyambu Trinavirudham, that are your animals fine and they have enough of water, grass and other green stuff to eat. Virudha is like creepers. Brihadvanam tadadhuna yatra setvam suhidvrata. So you are living in Mahavan, because Gokul is part of Mahavan. So Brihad means Maha. That at present you are there and surrounded by your family people, friends. So is everyone nirujam, without any disease. Everyone is healthy and cows have enough food to eat. So pashavyam means pashubhyo hitam pashavyam tadhit yat pratya tasmai hitam. So means for the welfare of the pashus, animals. Nirujam hrashvatvam chando nurodhat. So nirujam, it should be Nirujam, Ruja means rog, disease, sickness. So are they free from disease? And Tavanta. The original word is Ruja roge. Oh my gosh. So when you meet people, then you ask, how are you, how your family, your job, right? So that's what he's asking. Not your cows, your relatives, everyone fine. Bhratar mama sutay kachin matra sahe bhavad vraje tatam bhavantam manvano bhavadbhyam uplalitaha. And now he says that, my dear brother, what about my son, Mama Suta? that is Balram, Kachin Matra sa Bhavad Vraja. How is he along with his mother, Rohini? Tatam Bhavantam Manvano. He thinks of you as his father. Because he has not seen his father, he only thinks of Nanda Maharaj as his father. So Tatam Bhavantam Manvano Bhavadbhyam Uplalita. And he is being taken care of by you, two of you, that is Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. So he is asking now about his own child and wife. So Mama Sutta Sukham Vartate iti Shesha. So he is asking that, is my son doing well? Is he happy? Manvana iti Vartman Samipya Mansyamana ityartha. So Manvana is using in Vartman Samipya, means thinking of you as his father, because now he is very small, so what is he going to think, father and all? So he's saying it's used in the present tense, but in the sense of future, that when he grows up, he's going to consider only you as the father, because he's not going to see Vasudeva for a long time, for 11 years. Only after that they see him. पुंसास्त्रिवर्गो विहितः सुहृदो हि अनुभावितः नेतेषु क्लिश्यमानेषु त्रिवर्गोऽर्थाय कल्पते. So he says that for human beings there is injunction in Shastra to pursue Trivarga, Dharma, Artha and Kama. So Trivargo Pumsam Vihita. It is ordained in Shastra that one should follow dharmic principles, earn wealth and live happily. So Srido hi Anubhavita, and this is done so that the Sruhidas, the relatives, they remain happy. Means family, this is the purpose of family, that parents, they have children, so they want to supply comfort, needs of their children. So Sruhidam hi Anubhavita. So not only comfort, also train them in dharma principles. That's why I said Trivarga. These days people only think of just comfortable life, not about the dharma. It's only artha and kama.
Does Trivarga occur anywhere in Shastra?
Trivarga is only for asuras. So Trivarga is Vihita. And Neteshu Klishamaneshu Trivargo Arthai Kalpate. But if the family members are unhappy, then Trivarga becomes purposeless or useless, futile. Because the whole purpose of Trivarga is that you live happily here and in the next life. That is the purpose of Trivarga. And Chaturvarga is to get out from the cycle. So if you are not happily living here, if you are suffering, Klishamaneshu, if family members are suffering, so then Trivarga has not achieved its purpose. Trivargo narthai kalpate. So therefore, he is saying that our children should be happy, we should be happy. That's what is indicated. So he is saying, Mamatu grihashramo viphala evatya. So he says, in my case, my family life, my grihastha has been unsuccessful. Viphala means unsuccessful, because I have suffered, my wife has suffered, our children, they are killed. So there was no Trivarga, no possibility of executing dharma, and no chance of making money, and no enjoyment living in the prison. So it says, Mametu grihashramo vifala eva. My grihashram, my grihasthashram is not successful. It is a failure. Why? Because the purpose of grihasthashram is that everyone lives happily in the family. If family members are not living happily, then what is the purpose of having a family? Then you might as well become sannyasi. At least you are what you are. So therefore it says Punsa. Suhrida Stri Putradin. So Suhrida means that Stri Putradin, children, sons, etc. And Anu Lakshikritya Trivarga. So here Anubhavita, Anu means pointing to them. Lakshana Vipshaitam Bhute Svabhir Bhage Pariprati. This Karam Pravachani. So Anu Lakshikritya Trivarga Shastrena Vihita. Shastra has ordained or prescribed the Trivarga for this purpose only. So that because everybody wants to live in a happy family life. So even if you are not with your own family, you want to make your own family somewhere. Don't want to just remain alone. You want to be with some people and have relation and be happy like that. So he says that is the purpose of Trivarga. But if that is not achieved, then Trivarga is a failure, then household is a failure. So therefore he says, Mamatu Nispalai. Bhavita Swakarambhir Nispadeta. So Bhavita here means that one should attain this, achieve this by one's own karma. Teshu Suiti Stri Putradi or Madvichedat Mamacha Putra Lalnadi Sukhana Vaptya Na Arthaya Arthaya Na Prayojnaya. He says, in my case, I am separated from my wife and my child. Because my wife is there with you, my child is there with you. So there is a vicheda. So, Stri Putri or Madvichedat. And Mamacha Putra Lalnadi Sukha Navattya. And therefore I don't have the pleasure of taking care of my child, my sons. I do not have this pleasure. And therefore it is futile, narthaya, kalpate. It has not achieved its purpose. I have failed in this because of my bad karma. So now this was Nanda Maharaj, he was speaking. Sorry, Vasudeva was speaking. Now Nanda Maharaj, he speaks. Srinanda Vacha, Srinanda said, Aho te deviki putra kamsena bhavo hataha ekavashishta vraja kanya sapi divam gata. So he says, alas, alas, the sons of Devaki, many of them, they were all killed by Kamsa, bhavo hata. And ekavashishta vraja kanya sapi divam gata. Only one girl was remaining. 6 sons were killed. So one younger sister was there, and that also disappeared. So as far as Nanda Maharaj is concerned, he is thinking that this girl was Vasudeva's daughter. So he does not know that this was his daughter. So therefore he says, Eka Avishishta Varja Kanya Sapi Divam Gata. So Divam Gata has 2 meanings. In Hindi, Divam Gata is also used when somebody dies. When they say he went to Divam, Divam means heaven. And here Divamgata means she went into the sky. So basically they are all dead. That is the meaning. So Tatprishtam Madhavraja Shemam Asti iti kim brahmimi Yadaham tad dukkhenaiva mahadukkhitya. So he says that, my dear friend Vasudev, you have asked me about the welfare of Vraja. So what can I speak about it? I am distressed by seeing your suffering, that how much you have suffered. So yadaham tvad dukkhenaiva mahadukhi aho iti. So with that mood, he speaks this verse, aho. Tatascha mataputra nyasadikamasya na viditam iti nyatva Vasudeva gatashanka antaranandito babhuva iti jaya. So now when Nanda Maharaj spoke like this, then Vasudev's that lingering doubt whether he knows about the girl exchange with Krishna or not, that was removed, that he does not know. So inside he felt relieved that he does not know that this daughter was your daughter and that son is my son. So actually my son is alive and your daughter is gone. So when he understood that Nanda Maharaj is not aware of this, then he felt satisfied. Otherwise he was not sure if he knows or does not know. So nunam hi adrishta nishtho ayam adrishta paramo jana adrishtam atmanas tattvam yo vedana samhiyati. So now he says that what can be said? Indeed, everything is based on adrishta. Adrishta, daiva, dishtam, bhagdeyam means karma, past karma. Adrishta paramojana, he says people are controlled by adrishta. So everything is under the control of past karma. That is called adrishta. Adrishta literally means not visible, because we don't know what all we have done in our past life and what result is that bringing. It's like in the land we don't know what all types of seeds are lying. When rains come, then you see so many types of plants, creepers come out. Then you understand that seeds were already there. So like that, as just like these seeds are adrishta, and when they get their proper diet, proper atmosphere, then they come out. Like that we also have many seeds lying inside our chitta. And when appropriate situation arises, then particular karma becomes manifest, good or bad. So that's what was said earlier. So that's why he says adrishta nishtha ayam adrishta parama jana. That our birth and death, our life, everything is based on adrishta. Ayu karma cha vittam cha vidya nidhanam eva cha panchetani apsujjante garbhastha eva dehina. Even when the child is in the womb of the mother, then 5 things are already fixed. Ayu, how long one will live. Karma, what kind of job one will do. Vittam, how much wealth one will make. Vidya, how much education. Nidhanam, how one will die. Whether one will die by corona or one will die with some other sickness. So ayu karma cha vittam cha vidya nidhanam eva cha panchayatani hi srijyante garbhasthasya eva dehina. So even in the garbha they are fixed. So in India there is a system, when child is born, then on the 6th day they have some celebration. It is called Shashti Puja. So mother will feed the child. Therefore Sometimes when somebody is in difficult time, they say छठी का दूध याद आ गया. बोलते हैं? आपके यहाँ भी बोलते हैं छठी का दूध. So छठी का दूध means the milk you drank on the 6th day. So that day it is said that the fate is written. So this is he's saying it happens in the Garbha only. So that's the meaning that adrishta nishtha drishta param. So bhagyam phalati sarvatra navidyana cha paurusham. Everywhere it is the bhagya which gives fruit. This is Bhishma saying, Sarvam kalkritam manye bhavtam cheda prem. Even he was lying on the bed of arrows and Pandavas came there. So he felt very compassionate on the Pandavas and also very surprised that why these poor Pandavas have to suffer so much. Because from the birth they have suffered. They were born in the forest, although they were sons of Pandu, who was the emperor. And then the father died when they were very young, and then they were troubled by cousins. Then they have to wander in the forest 12 years. And when they came back, still they could not get their kingdom, and they have to fight. So he says that what can be said? Bhagyam phalati sarvatra naividyana cha paurusham. Says it is all karma. Karma Prabhu. So India, it is a good thing in India, this karma thing. In the West they don't have, therefore they suffer more mental tension. So karma is also like sort of medicine, right? So yada bhavi na tad bhavi, yad bhavi chedna anyatha, ite chinta vishagno yam agdam kin piyate. What has to happen will happen. What is not supposed to happen will not happen. So why don't you drink this nectar to counteract your anxiety? So you become anxiety free if you remember this sloka. Yada bhavi na tad bhavi, yad bhavi chedna tadanyatha. So iti chinta vishagnoyam magdah kim piyate. So why don't you drink this? Take this injection for chinta. This is the vaccine for anxiety. Right? So he says, take this.
Babaji Maharaj, can you please say those 5 things again for better taking the injection?
Ayu, karma, vitta, wealth, vidya, education, and nidhanam, how you will die. So Bhishma was speaking like this. Yatra dharma suto raja, gada pani vrikodara, Krishna astri gandivam, Krishna shrudha shrihida tatra vipat. He says, look, people say where there is dharma, there is no bad thing which happen. Because bad things happen because of adharma. So he says, yatra dharma suto raja. He says, the king Yudhishthira, he is son of dharma. And then they say, if you have strong people around you, then no problem. He says, gada pani vrikodara. Then you have Bhima, who has club in his hand. He will smash. Even Yamaraj cannot come near him. He is ready to fight. And Krishna Astri Gandivam. Krishna is also name of Arjuna. And then there is Krishna Arjuna, who has a Gandhi bow that people are scared of just hearing the twang of his bow. Krishna Astri Gandivam and Shruhit Krishna Tato Vipat. And their relative, their friend, is Krishna, and there Vipat is coming. There the problem is coming. So what can we say? It is only Bhagya. No one can change the Bhagya. So Harina api and Harena api. So Lalita Lalat Likhitam Rekham na kopi marstum arhati. The rekha which is on your forehead, can anyone wipe it? You can wipe sweat. You can wipe also your tilak. But can you wipe the lalat rekha? The lines on your forehead, can you remove them? Maybe it's plastic surgery. And they'll put some Botox there and it will spread like that. So anyway, when they wrote the sloka, at that time they did not have the Botox. So it says, Lalat Likhitam Rekham na kopi marstum arhati. No one can remove it. And Harena api, Harina api. Even Shiva, even Hari and Hara, no one can do that. But to speak of Brahma and Indra. So avasyam bhavino bhava bhavanti mehtam api. Avasyam bhavino bhava bhavanti mehtam api. That things which have to happen, they happen even to big people. How do you say? Nagnatvam nilkanthasya Mahai Senam Hare. Let's look at Shiva, Trishul-dhari. Poor fellow doesn't have proper clothes to wear. He's going naked, putting some skin, Gajacharma, elephant skin. And look at Vishnu. Cannot even get a nice bed to sleep. Maha Shanam Hare. He's sleeping on a snake. Would you like to do that? Sleep on a snake? If snake comes in your bedroom, you cannot sleep on your bed even. Right? If you see a snake in your bedroom, will you sleep? And he's sleeping on the snake, that means he must be really tired. Because how can you do that? If you're completely tired, you don't care, you can sleep on a snake also. So this is the Karma Prabhu. Does not leave anybody. So this is the theory of India, Karma theory. It's good to give solace to the mind, but not good if you have to achieve something in life. So then one should not think like this. So what is that sloka? Very nice sloka. Devam nihatya kuru paurusham atma shaktya. Devena deyamiti ka purusha vadanti. So, Purushingham Jayati Rajalakshmi. The first word is not coming to my mind. Anyway, so they say that whatever is Deva is there. What is Deva is Puru Janma Kritam Karma Devamiti Kathyate. Deva is nothing but the karma which you have performed in your past life. So past lives. That's what is called fate, fortune, daiva, karma. So it is something which you performed in the past, so you can also do it now and improve your future. So Purusingam upayati Lakshmi. Devena deva deya iti ka purusha vadanti. Devam nihatya kuru paurusham atma shaktya. Yatne krita yadina siddhati kotra dosha. So this sloka says Purushingham upayati Lakshmi. That victory, wealth, power comes to Purush Singha, means one who performs Paurusha. And Devena Deyam iti Kapurusha vadanti. Those who are important people. Kapurusha means important person. They say, oh, everything comes from fate. Daivena deyam. It comes only, it is given by fate. What can I do? It's my bad karma. Say, no. So he says, Daivena deyam iti kapurusha vadanti. So what is to be done? Daivam nihatya kuru paurusham atma shaktya. Kick away the daiva and perform paurusha, effort, endeavor, as much as is your shakti, atma shaktya. And then he says, well, if I still do not become successful, he says, yatne krite yadi na siddhyati kotra dosha. If still you are not successful, then you find out what went wrong. Don't give up. So that is other views. So these are two views. One is the Daiva view, other is the Paurusha view. So here he is talking about the Daiva, because something which has happened in the past. Otherwise people, they remain sticking to their past. This happened, that happened, I suffered so much, I got so much problem. My wife, my husband, my mother, my father, something. So how to calm your mind and continue with your life? So for that, this is very nice, that it's all because of Daiva. You don't have any role to play in that, so don't worry. Now you work. So he is saying, Nunam hi adrishta nishtoyam drishta paramo jana. So he says everything is because of adrishta, because all the children, they are killed. Now why to cry about it? Right? Crying over the split milk. It's not going to come back. Better make paneer from it if you can. Milk is not going to become milk again. So he says, therefore better to think that it is because of adrishta. Adrishtam atmanas tattvam yo vedanasa muhyati. One who knows the tattva of adrishta, one who knows how your horoscope works. If you understand where is your Jupiter, where is your Mars, right? Which house, what happened. So if you know this, then you are not bewildered, because you know it's already written here. These houses are there. Is graha. That's why they are called graha. Graha means they possess you. They possess you so strongly that they don't leave you, and the result comes. So he says, adrishtam atmanas tattvam yo vedana samuhyati. So he says, one who knows the adrishta of oneself or jiva, then one is not confused, bewildered, one remains clear and takes proper action. One does not lament, repent, grieve. Because if you are grieving, if you are lamenting all the time, then you are wasting your beneficial energy in useless activity or useless thoughts. So instead of making your fate, instead of improving your future, you are being controlled by your past. So this is what happens many times, that we are too much obsessed by our past, that we don't do proper action for our future, and we continue to suffer in our present. So therefore we spoil our present as well as our future because of our past. So that is not wisdom, and that's what he's saying, that one who knows this tattva, atmanas tattva, drishtam atmanas tattvam yo ved na samuhyati. He is not bewildered, confused, as Arjuna became bewildered. So that will not happen. So for that he says, comments, Bho Bhrata, Ayam dusparo api vipat sindhu vivek pote naiva tiryatayam iti ahanunamiti. So Nanda Maharaj is saying that, my dear brother, this ocean of calamity which you are in, you can cross over it by the boat of Viveka, proper understanding, proper discrimination. Otherwise, you have undergone so much trouble, but you didn't do anything. You got married, and then this prediction came from the sky and you got into trouble. And now you can keep on cursing Kamsa for that and repenting and thinking of your children. So he says, no, you cross over this. So although he says that it is duspara, it is very difficult. When people are in grief, they don't come out easily from that. And some people, they just go more and more into, they start drinking or taking drugs and they become depressed. And then they don't come out of that. Their life ends in depression only. They die or sometimes commit suicide. So he says that the way to cross over it, way to get out of it is through Viveka. If one has got brain, of course, to understand the Viveka. Some people are so much in grief that Viveka makes no effect on them. They only have to take some pill to get little dopamine, right, serotonin in their brain. Then they can think clearly. So adrishta eva nishtha samapti. So there are two words he is using here, adrishta nishtha and adrishta param. So why two words? Actually adrishta nishtha means situated in adrishta, and adrishta param means influenced by adrishta. But he gives a different meaning. So he says adrishta eva nishtha samapti. So yasya sa. So means their end is in because of adrishta only. Adrishta eva nishtha samapti yasya sa. Yadeva putra sukha pradam adrishtam hiyate tadeva putradeyo na bhavanti ityartha. So he says that when there is no adrishta for pleasure coming from children, etc., then what happens? Then they don't get children. Or even if they get, children die. So therefore it is, you got children and they were killed by Kamsa. So that means it is because of adrishta. You do not have the adrishta to have the pleasure of having children. So that's the thing. Nanda Maharaj says, I have that. So your son has come to my house. I will have the pleasure. So I have good adrishta. Tadeva putradeyo na bhavanti ityartha. Adrishtameva paramam mrita viyukta putradinam api sangam karanam yasya sa. So he says adrishta paramam. He says that if you have good adrishta, then what will happen? That mrita viyukta putradinam api sangam karanam. Yes. That even if your children have been killed, still they will be brought back. Right? Krishna will do that to Vasudeva. Devaki asked that, can you bring my 6 sons back to life? So he brought them. So that is also adrishta. So by adrishta you lose them, by adrishta you can get them. Evam adrishtam atmanas tattvam yo vedati tattulya ko anyopi viveki iti tamastu moheti bhav. So he says that in this way one who understands one's own adrishta, so if one has good knowledge of Jyotish, one can read one's own horoscope, or consult a good Jyotish and understand one's own horoscope, so then one will not grieve, because one knows that this has to happen like this only. So he says, Adrishtam Atmanas Tattvam Yo Veda iti Svatvatulya Konyo Viveki. So like you, if there is somebody who is Viveki, you are a Viveki, you have good wisdom, so you are not grieving. So like that he will also not grieve, he will not be in delusion, he will not be confused like that. So that's all Nanda Maharaj said. He only spoke 2 slokas, not much.
Question, Babaji.
Yes.
In this reading it says Nritya Viyukta Putra Dinam Api Sangam Akaranam. Yasyasha.
Sangam Karanam. Sangama Karanam.
Sangam Akaranam ki Karanam?
Karanam. Sangama is Akaranta, not Makaranta. Sangama.
Sangama and then Akarana.
No, there is no Karana. Sangama Karanam.
Okay, Sangam, okay.
There are 2 words. One is Sangam, which is the word Sangha, and one is Sangama. So this is Sangama Karanam.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Babaji, we have a question.
Yes, okay.
Since you mentioned this Jyotish thing, my experience, whatever little I know about Jyotish in India, is that instead of accepting the destiny, it's more of like, okay, you have to do this upahar, what is this parihar, and then this remedy, and you have to go to this temple and do this. So was that also common during that time?
No, accepting is of the past, because you cannot change that. But future,
Okay.
you do something,
Okay.
right? If you 20 years ago you had a disease, right? Now what are you going to do about it? You had it, it got cured. What are you going to do? But if someone says you're going to become sick after 5 years, and if you take 1 diamond ring from me, then you will not be sick, then you will take the ring. So that's for future. So they talk about future remedy, or something which is going on now. So purva janma kritam papam vyadhi rupena jayate. So japa homa danadi bhi tasya jayate shama. So you can do something by jap, home, dan, etc. Ring. Yes, come. हाँ बोलो यार.
Let Kamari ask, please.
Okay, Kamala. He said you asked last.
No, it's okay. It's about this discrimination, acceptance, and how they neutralize somehow some kind of belief or whatever negative emotion that they're manifesting because of karma. So then, because in one side there is the things are happening because of the past. So they are fixed. And they are hitting because they are reaction and they are karma. On the other side, there is, this is a fixed part that somehow we cannot change. So to deal with that, we need to deal with discrimination. Yeah?
Yeah.
But then when the emotion is too strong and that the discrimination is not working, so then this is also karma.
The devil karma.
Progress.
Yeah, means heavy karma. If discrimination is not working, that means it is a heavy karma.
Okay. So then where is the solution?
Then you just go through it. Have that discrimination. Oh, you have to make an effort. Whatever is your strength, that you have to use. So, Devam nihatya kuru paurusham atma shaktya. So everybody has got some strength. And if you keep on trying, your strength will improve. But if you think, well, it's karma, what can I do? And then you continue doing the same thing, then you are making it worse. Then you are feeding it. So you have to stop doing that and you have to use all your power. Everybody has got some viveka. No one can say that unless somebody is mentally retarded or some other problem. But in general, people have some viveka. Everybody has got some viveka. If you see a snake, you will protect yourself, right? So that is viveka. Child does not have, the child may touch the snake also, or play with it. So everybody has got some viveka. So whatever you have, then make use of that. Yes, Raman.
Balaji Maharaj, so speaking of the viveka and the action, if one knows that something has to be done, and he's finding either excuses. As an example, if a parent is sick, if a child is sick, the father or mother might give up their job, might do other things, whatever is needed to support or address that problem. But when it comes to spiritual life, many a times is it because the Shraddha is not strong that decisive actions are not taken, or there is hesitation on?
Yeah, they don't have interest. Then you don't have Shraddha, then you don't have interest in it. If you don't believe in it, if you think this is useless, I will not benefit from it. Actually, primarily our attachment is to our physical body and our Shraddha is in that. So if something will bring me pleasure at the physical level, mental level, family level, which are extensions of the body, then I do it. Because that's where my Shraddha is, because of aviveka. And because of that avidya, ignorance, aviveka, I don't have Shraddha in spiritual life, that I am actually not this body, I am separate from it. And my true good lies in pursuing spiritual life. So that Shraddha is very difficult to achieve. It only comes by satsanga. If one is fortunate, otherwise by satsanga also it does not come. Because of thick covering of avidya is so thick that it does not allow anything else to penetrate. It's like a kavacha. People in general, they are immune to spirituality. It's like we are taking this vaccine now so that we become immune to corona. So like that, everybody is vaccinated by birth for spirituality. That you hear it 100 times. So Sutvapi na evam veda kaschit. Right? Krishna says Ashcharyavad vadati tathaiva chan. Ashcharyavad chan nim shrunoti. So even after hearing, we don't put faith in it. So most people don't even have the patience to hear it. They don't even come to that level. And then there are others who hear but don't really put their heart into it. Because they don't really believe 100%. Their belief is elsewhere. So wherever is our Shraddha, that's what we continue to do. Yat Shraddha Sayavasa. Shraddhamaya ayam Purusha. So Purusha is, person is Shraddhamaya. Means steeped in Shraddha. That is the constitution of the heart. The heart is made of that. That's why called Shraddhamaya.
Can I ask one small follow-up, Bhagavan? So, if to do something, to achieve something, something has to give. As an example, if someone wants to climb Mount Everest, he'll probably have to spend time training, taking time away from family, from work, or doing whatever, because that is what he wants to achieve. So in the same way, if someone is doing something and is wanting to, progress in spiritual life or dedicate time there, and if, it is viewed as if, you're doing something, that is, it seems selfish that you're doing that. Is that still, you still have to discriminate with Viveka and know what you're doing is right and simply follow, what Shastra is, or how do we balance some of it?
Balance with what?
Say maybe with like material responsibilities and other things. So if someone is feeling he wants to do certain things, but he's being held back because of certain material responsibility. Maybe like in the case of Vasudevji, where he said, the fourth Artha was there, but he wasn't able to have the Grahastha situation. How does one balance some of that?
No, balance means you have to have first your goal clear. You see, balancing all this comes when our goal is not clear. So when your goal becomes clear, then you can do that. But if my goal is not clear, then there is no balancing. I want to do what is where my Shraddha is. When Shraddha is not strong, or it is not there, or it is very weak, then we think like that. Otherwise, we know that this has to be done, I do it, but actually inside I remain fixed. So Trivarga he is talking about family life, but this Trivarga is ultimately meant, we already said, that it is meant for the Chaturvarga only, the fourth one, Chaturtha. But at least Trivarga, he said, is Vihita, so that one lives. After all, if you want to pursue spiritual life, you must have some basis for that. Whether you live in a family or you live in an ashram, there should be peaceful situation. So peaceful situation means that you have proper relationship with your family members, if you are in a family, and you have enough money to survive, and you are not in anxiety, or you are not just working for that all the time. So that's Trivarga is designed for that.
And so giving up Trivarga for Chaturvarga should be, you cannot reach Chaturvarga without the Trivarga basis. Is that a way to understand it, Maharaj?
I mean, completely you cannot give up anything. Everybody, you have to eat wherever you go. So wherever you go, you will need some wealth, some comfort you need, right? It's hot, cold, rainy season, you will need some shelter, cloth, food. All this will be needed. That's Trivarga should not be a goal. Otherwise everybody needs. But that should not be our attachment, that should not be the focus. So that's what is called Yukta Vairagya. Krishna Sambandha Nirbandha. Yukta Vairagya Machate. So means that relationship with Krishna, that should be our focus. Then it is okay. So tavat kara griham griham. So tavat angro nigdo moha yavat Krishna na tejana. As long as one does not take shelter of Krishna, then all these things have problem. Otherwise it is not. Tavad raga deyastena. Tavat kara griham griham. So it is only up to that point.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes.
I want to ask a little follow up on this thing. Sometimes it is also seen that people have very unrealistic goals on their sadhana, and then to meet that goal, then they have a lot of problems at the other end, not able to fulfill their responsibilities, etc. So how does one decide about one sadhana that should be in strict this thing with the Gurudev, or can there be some criteria?
You yourself are saying people have unrealistic goals. How do you know they have unrealistic goals?
I've come across some people that I have to do this, so I cannot have any.
So therefore you yourself are telling me that it is unrealistic? Whom do you have to ask? You yourself, you have food in front of you and you eat 5 chapatis. And after eating 5 chapatis you have a stomach problem. So then you have to ask somebody else that it was wrong to eat 5, you should have eaten 4 or 3. Somebody else has to come and prescribe. You yourself are saying that they have unrealistic goal. So how do you know that they have unrealistic goal? Somebody told you? Or you yourself figured it out?
No, I figured in the sense that people are frustrated because they are not able to devote time for whatever the thing, and then they say that no, my this thing is remaining or this thing is remaining, whatever.
Yeah, so you yourself are figuring this out, that's what I'm saying. Not me, not someone else. Whether by seeing them or by talking to them, you yourself are saying that they are having unrealistic goal. So what do I have to say in this? You yourself understand it.
No, my question was a little not exactly on this thing. It is just my observation or whatever after speaking to some people. There are unrealistic parameters of sadhana. So my question was that.
So anyway, why are you bothered about them?
No, only my question was, how does one decide about one's sadhana?
Why are you talking one? I don't understand. What's your problem?
Yes, I understand.
Why are you worried about other? Tell me. Whoever is problem, let them ask.
I don't have any problem.
So then, don't worry. Why are you unnecessarily creating problem? Okay. Yeah.
So I'm having a problem myself, and I would like to have to understand the following situation. That just after some discussions, and when I reflect on how the world is going, what's happening in the news, how there are so radically different views on, every possible topic, and observing how society is developing, technology is developing, I can get very pessimistic. And I was wondering whether this feeling is something that could qualify as desire for moksha and therefore something that is contrary to bhakti, or whether it could be something that is, this little type of vairagya and moksha that is helpful for entering into bhakti, because one gets disinterested into material achievements.
Yes, it depends. After reading both side of views and getting confused about it, What is your conclusion? I mean, what action do you take? You become unhappy, depressed, pessimistic towards bhakti, or you become enthusiastic? That depends what is your outcome of that. Otherwise, there are 100 views on everything these days. And all the views are available. You can view them easily. Don't have to go anywhere. So you have to see what influence it has on your spiritual life. And from that you have to conclude whether you become pessimistic or you become optimistic or you remain practical. So that has to be seen. Otherwise, just remember that sloka, that whatever has to happen will happen. And what is not going to happen will not happen. So then remain cool.
In any case, when I feel something, no?
Fear.
No, when I feel something.
Feel,
yeah, just perceive. When I have some emotion while reflecting on how things are going, this definitely indicates some identification with what's
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, if you are having emotion, then it means they have some identification. Otherwise, why should you have emotion? Right? You don't become emotional about anything with which you are not attached. Right? People watch cricket match in India, they become very emotional. So why do they become emotional? It's just something going on, You have nothing to do with it. So why are they becoming emotional? Because they identify with it. They don't become emotional if some other team is playing. So that means there is some attachment.
So ideally, I would be able to just observe what is happening.
Yeah, because you don't have much role to play in it, and there is nothing much you can do about it.
Regarding this topic, I would like to give a practical example. I'm from Switzerland and it's very cold, so it's my first time in Vrindavan in summer. So I have to admit I'm not a sadhu, so I bought a Mitsubishi air conditioner, heavy duty, 2.0, so that I can survive here. Just a practical example how to survive here.
He also did it.
We also have.
So I just wanted to admit that. Thank you.
He followed your example. Last year he suffered. This year he said, I do what Manu is doing. He even changed his windows. He saw that you changed your windows.
Yes, since then I live very happy here in Vrindavan, so
Yes.
I have no problems.
You see, one AC,
Yeah.
that's enough. Change your life. Simple solution.
Babaji, I don't know if you can hear me. I have a question.
Yes, I can hear you.
Babaji, you mentioned that the covering of avidya, sometimes it is so thick.
Well, you have another problem. Your problem is you have covering of Vidya. His wife's name is Vidya. So you don't worry about avidya.
So Babaji, my question was that when the covering of avidya is so thick, you said that the effect of sadhu sangha is negligible, but I guess over a period of time that if you have prolonged sadhu sangha, the avidya covering gets washed away.
Yeah, if you don't commit offense in the process, then it will be washed away. Otherwise, what happens is that people do sadhu sangha and they also commit aparadh in the process. So then it can even become even deeper. So two things have to be done, as Krishna says, abhyas and vairagya. So you have to do sadhu sangha and you have to avoid positive is satsanga and negative side, don't commit offense. Then it will work very powerfully. Guaranteed.
So Babaji,
Both covering.
if one is having the sadhu sangha, but you not have seen that noticeable effect, then it's because of these offenses, and one
Yes.
just has to have the shraddha that over a period of time this covering will go away.
Yes, it will go away. Actually, it is going away, but you may not feel it so explicitly because it may go slowly. It's not that it goes so fast that you can feel. It's like a plant is growing, you don't see it growing, but it's growing. So like that, if you're doing your sadhana, sadhu sangha, hearing, then it is going away, but it appears as if nothing is happening. But you can see the effect if you actually take stock of your life, how you were in the past and how you are now. You will see the influence.
Thank you, Babaji.
Okay.